Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting for the city of San Juan at 6 p.m. May we rise for invocation? Mr. Juan, can you lead us, sir?
Yes, please bow our heads. Dear Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather this day and for the many gifts that you give us, especially the gift of life itself. We ask for your guidance throughout this meeting, that all of our thoughts and actions reflect your holy will, and that you will grant us the grace to make the best decision for our staff and city. We pray in your name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Dear Commissioners, staff, good evening. Under tonight's meeting, we have a presentation of departmental reports. Tonight, we have the Department of Finance, Fire Department, Police Department, Municipal Court, and Department of Utilities. I think every director is here present. Should you have any questions for them? But before we start, Mayor, if we may, if I can, I'd like to bring Acting Chief Cifuentes over to the podium. I want to say a couple of weeks ago, he did submit some requests to the DHR for something that is happening in December. So if he can please come to the podium and tell us about those good news.
Good evening, Mayors, Commissioners, City Manager. As we know, Blue Santa is fast approaching, and it was last month that I went to work on a weekend and sat down with some of the officers and some of the supervisors there to collect ideas on how we can make it better this year for the Blue Santa event. So the common ideas were to place collection boxes on businesses, of which they have been supportive of every year. But this year, I found information that DHR was accepting donation request applications. Coming from a low-income family, I know that when I was smaller, I know how good it feels to receive a toy from the Blue Santa. So therefore, I know it was a long shot, but I decided to apply to DHR. And with that, I just got word earlier that they approved us for $5,000. So more hundreds of kids will be receiving toys this year in reference to the Blue Santa.
Mr. Cifuentes, can you come to the podium, sir? First of all, I want to congratulate you for doing that outstanding work. Is there any way we can maybe get with the person who's in charge in reference to the $5,000 donation that you got from DHR? Maybe get with IT and, take a picture and put it up so that way we can, inform the community that this donation was from DHR. Another thing too, maybe here in the future during the Blue Santa, maybe invite them as well, to come out and participate and be with the commission and our directors and your PD, everyone, giving out these toys and see if they can come out and meet us. I believe it's on the same day as the Noche de Paz. Am I correct?
The Noche de Paz is December the 10th?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it going to, have you guys been talking about the Blue Santa date, Mr.
Yes,
Arjona?
sir. As a matter of fact, it'll be on December the 10th as well.
Okay, yeah. So if you can reach out to them and see if they can come out here and join us, we'd like for them, especially not only them, but anyone else who donated these toys to any other businesses, can invite them as well, be part of the family and this good cause.
Yes,
and I thank you once again for reaching out to DHR. I never knew that. Do they do that every year, sir? Or
I'm going to sit down with them and get information to see if, like I said, I just found that information.
Okay.
And I just decided to, let me throw that application in.
Great.
To me, it was well worth it. I mean, even though I don't know where it was going to go, but it was worth at least trying.
Good.
And
Okay.
we just received the word of those
Thank you.
$5,000.
Thank you. Any other?
Fuentes, I know that.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
As far as I know, I think last year and before the COVID year, I think the police department was taking a box to some of the schools. And the teacher, I don't know, go ahead and contact.
Correct.
For young kids and hopefully y'all can take a
And we'll do that.
High school also,
Yes, the high school.
they do that
I
already.
believe we did it last year with the high school.
And they'll fall under the police department.
We will. Any other questions? Thank you.
Sure. I guess, Mr. Arjona, under the municipal court, I know the commission had approved, I believe Purdue in reference to the
Yes.
collect. Have you got with them or
Yes.
got with Mary in reference to the process and?
I did get with Mr. Gutierrez.
Okay.
And there's a couple of things that we need to come back before the commission and then take care of that before we can actually hire them. Some sort of a resolution or a form or something like that.
That's correct. Whenever there's an agreement for collection of tax services, it's just not just engaging in by an actual contract. We have to do a resolution. And so I know that I was reached out by Mr. Gutierrez, and I know the city manager was. So they're providing those documents. We'll have them on the next meeting, so that way we can take formal action on that resolution. So that way we can go forward with it.
The next meeting, I'm not too sure, so if, maybe we can call like a special call just for that item, because I know in the month of December, it pretty much, this commission pretty much agreed that, we're gonna kind of slow down, but if there's anything that needs to be, pressed for time or whatever, I'm available and I'm hoping I can get two more. Yeah, so we can call, we can do a
Review
special.
those documents immediately, so we're
Yeah,
ready
just,
to go.
okay, all right, yeah. Any other questions for the, go ahead, sir. Ma'am.
Caliche last week, but because of the weather, they haven't been able to continue, but they're hoping to be done with the asphalt, everything complete by the end of the December. You mentioned right now that we ordered some, right? That there's some on order? Is that a sufficient amount? No, I'm saying, is that a sufficient amount to start with? As you said, you had a list. I'm not asking for my money, okay.
I believe he's asking the list. There are a lot of people in the wait.
I mean, something we may need to look into if it's needed.
Oh, 20 substitutes.
Off my head, I don't have the list ready, but I know that the ones that we discussed, I got some here down on citrus. Once we start with citrus, it just kind of wants, everybody wants some of that under streets now. So we haven't put them up, but as soon as they found out, now every street wants speed bumps because traffic just flows through there tremendously, so. They used to go through PD. I don't know how I wasn't here when they came to my department. I was here when I got here, but according to what I hear, they used to go through PD. PD used to send a survey. They used to go through the survey and whatever they have to meet certain requirements. And PD gives us the list. How they purchase them, I don't know if they come out of my department. I know they come out of my department now. Yes.
Another way that we can address these speed bumps, also is traffic enforcement. It's a lot cheaper when you have officers working. So that's another avenue we can look at. Not just speed bumps itself, but law enforcement action.
Mr. Tijerina, going back to the court, are you able to get those guys to get certified after all, or are you still waiting for any?
Commissioner, they've already submitted the TDLR applications. We had been trying to get them to get that first. They have to get the certified with Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. So, they submitted that already. Once they receive that, they're able to take the exam. Yes, sir. So they should be probably a week or two, I would say, before they can take the test.
Going back to Mr. Garza's comments, Mr. Arjona, so I'm not clear here. Who's responsible for that budget? Is it PD or is it sanitation?
Yeah, and at one point, Mayor Commissioners, the department responsible for was PD under the forfeiture assets. That's what the previous chief used to get them from. And then we started getting some from sanitation department under the previous director. And so eventually just started shifting over this way towards the sanitation, not the PD.
But the process goes through the PD.
It goes for both, because once somebody makes a submit or request for speed bumps, it goes to PD so they can do an assessment as to whether it's really needed or that sort of an assessment.
So are those assessments, have they been conducted before we go out?
The ones that we've had, yes, sir, we have,
Okay.
just signs off on them, we go install them.
Okay, so going back to the budget, does this money come from his, Mr. Garza's, or the PD's budget?
We can always step into the forfeiture asset monies, and we have some monies available through the.
Now, do we?
Well, excuse me, sir, the asset forfeiture does not allow,
Hold on, sir, let me ask Mr. Arjona a question. So do you know if there's any funding in the forfeiture budget?
As far as we know, there's some monies there, Mr. Gonzalez, under forfeiture monies?
There is money in the forfeiture fund, but it would be more. It's not really the same. It's under the streets, which is the general fund. Yeah.
The only thing, Mayor, I recommend is to check. I don't think you could utilize asset forfeiture money for those type of purchases. I'd reassuringly recommend to do that. And there's an email that you can actually send the Fed, and you can ask them to see if that's allowable.
And we'll do that. Like I said, in the past, previous chief used to do that.
Right.
And then sanitation picked up on that.
Right.
But I'll find out, most definitely. We'll do.
All right. I just want to make sure, this is clear wherever the money comes from, but, I mean, we just got to make sure that, I mean, like Mr. Garza mentioned, they're very costly. And, I mean, if there's something that we're going to need to budget on a yearly base for that, I think we should.
One of the ideas that Mr. Garza was sharing was that any and all new subdivisions, maybe equipment with the speed bumps, maybe not the ones that are rubber made, but the ones with the asphalt. But at this point, we're trying to catch up on the speed bumps. There's many requests, and obviously there's only a certain amount of money that we have available. But we try to make purchase as many as we can.
Any other questions? Pretty much, that's all I have. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Garza, see if you can get a hold of somebody in Edinburgh, because I know that we went to a meeting, I don't remember when it was, we're talking about those bumps. They make their own by, like Mr. Arjona said, by using asphalt. I don't know how it's intact, how do they used to take it out for it not to, to
We have
break or something?
we have the format to build the asphalt, and we've talked, Mr. Juan and I talked about it, it's just that asphalt is just as expensive as and you can't just buy a little bundle of asphalt. So it's very hard. It's very hard.
Okay.
So it's either one or the other, but if you're gonna do speed bumps with asphalt, you have to do as many as you can that day, because once that hot mix goes cold, it's worthless. That's it.
But do your guys have like any type of training for that, sir?
Haven't done any, or I have not done any. Well, I got 2 or 3 guys that know how to do it.
And the reason why I ask, because I don't know if you've seen that speed bump, asphalt speed bump right on, behind, over here on Sylvia Circle. That, I mean, that,
I haven't paid attention to it, I probably have, but
yeah, the vehicles, literally, they bottom out there.
they can only be 6 inches high, sir. I get that, I think that one's a little higher than
Yeah,
it is.
that's,
But they have to be 6 inches or less. It's just, they have to be white and 6 inches.
so if we're gonna go that route, we just gotta make sure that, your employees have the
Yeah,
proper
they-
training.
We'll do them the right way, sir. And then they have to also be painted yellow,
Correct,
so
correct.
keep in mind.
And not only that, it's not a small one, it's a wider one.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Garza. Any other questions? If not, we'll go ahead and move on. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, under discussion and possible action, we have discussion and consideration toward the RFP number 23-003-10-20, City of San Juan Fire Station sanitary sewer line replacement, and authorize city manager to execute all related documents as needed to the most responsible bidder. Ms.
Good evening, members of the commission, Mr. Arjona. On October 5th and October 12th, staff advertised in the advanced newspaper to solicit bids for proposals on RFP number 23-003-10-20, City of San Juan Fire Station sanitary sewer line replacement. A pre-bid conference was held on October the 12th with a bid opening October 20th. Bids were submitted from the following vendors: RDH Site and Concrete, Rea Construction, McCallum Multi-Service. Bids received along with the tabulation sheet are provided in your packets. We have a staff member from Saints Engineering and Surveying present if you have any questions.
Any questions at this time? So tell us a little bit, Mr. Arjona.
This line, is this the one that goes from the fire station? Right. So there was as you recall, the reason why we brought this up was because that line, when we're going to be building the new fire station, the line is very shallow. So one of the recommendations that we had from Sames was that we need to extend the line to another manhole, or is it a manhole? A manhole that was deep enough so that it'll give us a proper, what do you call that, the elevation, so that the sewer line does not have any issues at the fire station like it does now. So it is going through some homes, but the recommendation was that it'll be done through the streets, in front of the streets. So that was going to be a little more costly, so there's going to changes. So the recommendation is going this route. And you're from Sames Engineering. Ms. Nadia.
Can you come to the podium and just, because we can put everything on record.
Got it.
I'm sorry.
Do I need to start again?
Yes, please. I'm sorry.
All right. My name is Nadia Lopez. I am with Sam Engineering and Surveying. I'm the project manager on this project. So the city approached us in regards to that sewer line since it was pretty shallow. So we went back and looked at all the manholes around the area to see which was going to be the next deepest manhole that we can tie into. It turns out that was not until along Kansas Street between 8th and 9th Street. So we decided to run the sewer line at that section, running it through an alley between 8th and 9th Street, and then cutting across up north to the fire station, or the new fire station. So we extended it through there. But yes, it does go through some property fencing that is fenced. So we will have to go through that. That owner's property, I think it's technically an alley, but the sewer line is running through there. So we will basically be replacing that to be a little larger size and to be a deeper sewer line. Correct. And to the city hall that's there as well?
Yes, right.
Yes.
Now, ma'am, have you worked with these 3 different companies before?
I haven't, no, and I also asked around the company as well, with everyone, and they're familiar with him, but they have not personally worked with him directly. So I did ask the city to see if they had any experience with them. I did also ask them for some recommendation letters, and they did provide 3 of them for us, and
Each company gave you 3,
no, just the lowest bidder,
which was the,
RDH
okay.
Concrete.
By any chance, do you have that number?
The lowest bid amount? Yes.
I have the high. What is it, man?
Let me pull that up. It is
I don't see it here in my packet.
$190,257.50.
Got it.
They were the lowest bidder.
Yeah, and Reina came in at 302, and McAllen Multi-Service was at 432. Am I correct?
Raya Construction came in at $291,590, and then McAllen Multi-Services came in at $432,820.
Questions? We're good?
Yes.
So I guess,
In fact, Mayor, if I may, as a matter of fact, we've done some work with, or RDH has done some work here with the city.
yeah.
We never had any issues with them, so they were.
So they're pretty much punctual on the work and stuff like that?
Yeah, they did it with us in the previous years, yes.
Okay. All right, with that being said, I'll go ahead and make a motion to go with, RDH. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
The next item, Mayor Commissioners, we have a discussion and consider selection of depository services for the City of San Juan Depository of Public Funds beginning October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2024. This item, Mayor Commissioners, as you know, we're bringing it back because as we now know, there were some items or some information that was not presented adequately. So this is why we're bringing it back. There's some information that is there in your packet that talks about the ECR and the interest bearing. And then that will clarify a little bit more as to the reasons why we need to come back and present this item again to you all. Mr.
Go ahead, Mr.
Gonzalez.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. If you, in your packet, I have included a spreadsheet on the 4 banks that submitted a bid proposal. In the first, we have Texas National at an interest-bearing, ECR as NA, and an interest-bearing of 0.30, which brings an annual interest earnings of $62,006 with 80 cents. And then the second one we have is the Lodestar National Bank at an ECR of 2.25% and an interest bearing of 1.73%, which brings us interest of about $357,572. And of course, and then we have Plains Capital submitted a ECR of 1.75, but interest bearing was not provided. And then we have Texas Regional Bank at a ACR of 0.20% and an interest bearing of 0.75, which still brings us, based on the 20 million balance that we have, it would bring in about 155,016 in interest. And of course, it does include some service fees. And I don't think I mentioned on the others, Texas National does not have service fees. Texas Lodestar National has a 38, but also based on that ECR, which offsets the services, which in a 20 million wouldn't come back to any service charges. Plains Capital. Plains Capital, it would be monthly service fee of $1,030. And then we have Texas Regional at 1,503. This is monthly. Those are the 4 banks that submitted their proposal.
Based on the information you're providing to us this evening, I mean, just looking at the numbers, obviously, would probably be, it's the best bet for the city. Am I correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay, now, just for the record, what information from last month, from October, wasn't presented to the commission?
The interest account and the, basically the information they were providing here was the only
Correct,
thing
yeah.
that was not provided last time.
Which was in October, right?
Yes,
So this past
correct.
month.
October 22nd, I think it
Okay,
was.
so now, as we're here today, this is the proper information that you're,
That is correct.
okay. All right. Any questions for Mr. Leroy?
It varies. We have Techstar, was our investment, and some of those, like Techstar right now is paying 2.85 in interest. So depending on how we need the money, I will transfer it to Texas, Techstar, I'm sorry.
Something that was not presented at the last meeting on the interest bearing and also on the ECR. The ECR, what it means is that, yeah, it looks like a high interest, but that's the one that gives us credit for any type of services or any type of charges. So when you're asking Commissioner Santillanes do we maintain the $20 million balance on the bank? Probably not, but the magic number that we talked about is to what's going to be to offset whatever the charges are is about $1 million and $1.5 million in the bank, which we usually keep more than that. So just that alone offsets any charges that come into the city. So those 30,000 that is there, 38,000 más o menos, give or take, more than likely that's going to be completely offset at the end of the day.
All right. With that being said, I'll go ahead and make a motion.
If I may, there was an award that was done before, so if the city has some options here. One, the city can take on a secondary depository if they want, and use to choose to maintain interest rates with that depository. Or 2, if they wish to go with one financial institution because of the previous award, we would have to have a motion to rescind that award first before we take on another award or consider another award to another depository. So the city has 2 options. You either want a second depository, so that way the city manager can negotiate that, what services are going to be provided by either one, or.
And that process needs to go right now, right? Before? Of course, it's okay. I'd like to make a motion to rescind based on the information given.
So it would be the award, the previous award to Texas National Bank, is that correct?
Correct.
That's a motion?
That's in the motion.
I'll second, Mayor.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. So at this time,
Before, Mr. Leroy, all the information that you have and that you considered the last time that you were here and the presentation that you made here, is that based on solely the information that was provided to you by way of proposals?
Correct.
So, and that proposal deadline was sometime back in October or November?
It was October.
October something? So my question to you is, no information, you are not considering any additional information after the proposals were submitted and that deadline, is that correct?
That is correct.
So your presentation today is only from the information that was made,
Was provided.
that was provided by proposal at that deadline? No other information has been considered, is that correct?
That is correct.
Then, again, at this time, if the commission wishes to select a depository, they can do so now. There's no reason that we would have to reject all the bids, or no reason that anything happens, so that you would be making a decision based on the information that was provided by the deadline, so, and no other.
Based on that information and
So, in other words, it means that, Leroy, for now we have the full paperwork, everything done correctly. What would be your recommendation?
My recommendation?
well, just based on the information that was
Based on what
presented.
well,
you-
based
that
on,
you-
can we go into the motion already?
Hold on, based on the new information you got,
The new information that I'm providing to you
That
here,
wasn't there.
Commissioner, let me just say, the information that is provided here in front of you was provided before as well.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to nominate Lone Star National Bank.
Second.
It's been second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
The next item, item C, we have discussion and possible action regarding request for the use of municipal park to host the high school soccer games for the Vanguard Academy Charter School. Mr. Willingham? Thanks, sir.
Good evening, Mayor Commission. Before you in your packet, there was a letter of request that was sent over to us by Athletic Director Coach Figueroa from Vanguard Charter School Academy. Their athletics is growing, and right now they don't have a location to host their home soccer games. So they have requested the use of Municipal Park to host their home soccer games this season. In there, so I tallied it up and did what we would need to do to have out there and to come up to get a rental fee for them. So I've included that in what the cost would be. If approved by the commission, then we'll sit down with them, go over the costs and what we'll need from them, like insurance, game insurance, like we provide, like that is provided to the city for baseball tournaments and games like that. So they'll provide for the season. And we'll take care of striping the field. They're gonna provide the goals, the game goals. The goals, the official size, the big ones that they will bring theirs
Pretty much everything is
to meet.
the way it would with any other
Right.
PSA district or anything.
Sure.
Okay.
Do we charge PSJ district? Like as far as if they were to use our facilities, or let's say they wanted to rent the soccer field?
Well, for games like that, we would have to consider it like a turnkey, as they do when other schools come in and use theirs.
Now, this is just for soccer?
Right.
What about,
I believe the schedules were.
yeah, no,
included,
yeah,
right?
I see
Yes.
that, but
The boys and
I'm
girls.
just speaking, I guess, here in the future as far as like the softball and baseball, what if they start wanting?
They haven't requested anything yet. I will talk to Coach Figueroa and see if there's going to be anything further coming. Those might get a little bit more complicated because of our use of those facilities in the spring. It gets a little, that
Yeah,
traffic
I-
gets a little bit more than our soccer season does.
I totally understand that, and I know.
And we'll work with them if we can.
And I see that your department's growing as well.
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
definitely understand that, but I guess my concern, well, not concern, but my focus is that we have Vanguard parents
Sure.
that live in the city of San Juan, and they also pay taxes.
Sure.
Just like IDEA, just like our PSJ parents. And I kind of just want to make sure that,
Correct.
you know, we're fair across the board.
Sure.
And I think this is a great start. And so what I'm trying to say is if there's any way, I guess you can talk to the athletic director there at Vanguard and just let them know that we're here open as well to our baseball facilities, depending on your schedule.
Sure.
And the kids, so.
Right.
But yeah, that's a good start. I appreciate that. Go ahead, sir.
And adding to what the mayor's saying, yes, it's true, because at our school, we have kids that come and play football, but they still have kids at Vanguard separate. I mean, they're brothers and sisters or brothers and brothers.
Correct.
But not all of them come to, because they don't have football.
Correct.
So we serve them and they still have kids there. So, I mean, pretty much what the mayor's telling you that, what you need to do is just get into.
No, we'll work with them. We'll work with them. Absolutely.
Hopefully, I guess, I don't know, but where are we at on on that gym? I know the Northside Park and stuff like that. We're still way out? Yes. Okay. All right. We need to focus on that,
Okay.
on the gyms too.
Absolutely.
Okay, man. With that being said, is there a motion?
So move.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
So the next item, discussion and consider approval of the meeting minute amendments for the February the 9th, 2021 regular city commission meeting. As you recall, there was an item at the last meeting on a reimbursement for a developer. So one of the things that we missed on that, on those minutes was some of the stuff that is here now, precisely page 112. And that's where it talks about the reimbursement between the, going from an 8-inch line to a 12-inch line. So that one is there. It was approved. It was talked about. So at the next meeting, whether it's a special call meeting or regular meeting, we'll bring that item back, given that this already been approved this minutes.
That being said, is there a motion approved? I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Resolutions, Mayor Commissioners, we have consideration approval of a resolution establishing the intention of the city of San Juan, Texas to reimburse itself for the prior lawful expenditures or funds relating to acquiring, constructing, and equipping various city improvements from the proceeds of one or more series of tax-exempt obligations to be issued by the city authorized purposes, authorizing other matters incident related thereto, and providing an effective date. This is an item that is being proposed so that we can actually acquire a dozer, what Mr. Garza calls a dozer, much-needed equipment over at the sanitation department. Now, we do have some proceeds already that is already being set aside, some monies, but this is just so that we can later, when we go for an additional CO, like what we did for the last one on the excavator, we can always put those two items in that the CO, and this will be for reimbursement back to the city.
Any questions for Mr. Garza or Mr. Arjona? Okay. With that being said, is there a motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
The next item on the contraction, we have consideration approval of an addendum to the LESO Program State Plan of Operation, SPO. Chief?
Excuse me, the consideration approval of the addendum is in reference to the LESO program, which is the old 1033 program, allows us to provide, obtain equipment for, military equipment for police use. And it's just in reference to getting the MOU signed. And
Questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
The next item on the consent agenda, we have considered approval of the City of San Juan 2022 tax roll certificates. The information is there within the packet in front of you, so if you have any questions for it, we can talk about it or just
Is
approve.
there
as
anything we need to amend or modify under consent agenda? Amend or modify? If not, is there a motion to approve? I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Session, we have one item, this one city commission will convene executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Vernon's Texas statutes and codes annotated government code, chapter 551 and 551071, consultation with attorney. Tonight we have pursuant to section 551071, consultation with attorney, discussion and possible action regarding the entertainment agreement for 2022 Noche de Paz.
With that being said, is there a motion to enter executive session?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. We'll be entering at 6:39 PM. Thank you.
I'd like to reconvene from the executive session. Do I have a motion to approve? Actually, at 7:07.
So moved.
Do I have a motion to approve, to open? Second has been made by Mr. Villegas. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna go to the, because I lost my, I got my, item number, letter A. Motion to reconvene on item number 1 on pursuant to the section of 55.071 of the Texas Governmental Code, discussion and possible action regarding the entertainment agreement for Noche de Paz.
Based on discussion in executive session?
Authorize CM to execute the,
I'd like to authorize the CM to execute
yes, sir.
as between the city and Zuniga Entertainment.
Motion been made by Mr. Villegas. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Guajardo. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion's been made by Mr. Guajardo. A second? By Mr. Villegas. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Meeting has been adjourned at 7:09.